dollars to candidates and to give me nothing to take an. And by the way, thanks for the Uber. I thought he said to this guy.
I've given millions to Canadians.
You have?
Well, I mean, when you play Toronto, the taxes are pretty high.
Oh, you poor thing.
No.
Oh my God! So you finish, like, if you're playing 3,000 people, let's say at O'Keefe Center or whatever.
Yeah.
You leave with nothing, probably, right?
Well, it's Canadian money, so it's practically worthless. But
That's nice of you.
No.
Sure not to be invited back.
No. I always love playing it, but yeah. Well, it's every state, don't you? When you see your taxes, you instantly play.
I have no interest in money.
Well,
I don't. I mean,
that's very Canadian.
Well, it's also because I didn't grow up, I grew up with some money. My father was, a big steel executive, and so...
And you have a lot of money, so you don't have to worry about money. It's the people who don't have money who worry about money. Of course.
What's that about? That's so weird. It's like, I want to say, guys, just dip into your inheritance. But they look at me like I'm weird or something.
Yeah. No, I mean, I love the fact, I was talking about this to somebody.
How much are you worth now? Let me guess.
Well, first of all, even if I knew to the penny, I wouldn't say. Well, here's what I will say that I think
What about, where's my rum?
Rum?
I had rum once.
Here. This looks like
look at that.
rum.
There it is.
You mean this big, giant brown bottle
Anyway.
you couldn't find?
No, I know.
What'd you just ask me?
How much you were worth to the cent.
Oh, what's interesting now about that, I don't know exactly, is that when I remember my first, being in my first house.
This is like a high school drink, isn't it?
Yeah. No.
Rum Coke?
High school drink is like Southern Comfort.
Yeah, it used to be Ryan Ginger, too, when I was a kid.
But when I used to reconcile the checkbook to the penny. To the penny,
What do you mean reconcile? What does that mean?
Like the checks come back. The checks you wrote, and then they come back. And you
look
at your own checks.
Yeah.
And I could have told you in, 1985 or something, how much money I had to the penny. And if it was off, I'd do something about it.
That's what Steve said once. We were we had finished the show. We're now in the private plane. We're flying along.
Right.
And I said to him, I said, did you used to he still can't believe. He always says, can you believe this plane? He still can't get over how great it all feels.
Well.
But he said, in the early days, he used to be with a little calculator, calculating, how much he'd made that night.
I remember my father, and it's so, we have so much in common. For example, we both think you're great. No, but so many things when I think about my childhood, I think about your autobiography, which is fantastic, I must say, perfect title also. But
I must say, my life is a humble comedy legend.
Right. Right. But I remember my father we would, after church on Sunday, we would stop at the Sinclair station, the dinosaur gas.
Yeah.
And which, ironically, since it comes from dead dinosaurs, carbon, So maybe that's why they named the company that. But we would pay for the gas, which was probably 29 cents a gallon.
Yeah, I know.
Or something. And he would have mileage. There was something, it was on the back of an envelope he kept in the visor up there, and he would take it down, and there was a pencil, and he would figure out the mileage, how much gas was going in, whatever calculation it was, whatever 29 cents it was going to save him. It was very important that he do that every Sunday.
Is that because he was worried about money or just didn't want to waste it?
Both, just like an obsessive about, he grew up in the Depression. People who grew up in the Depression do tend to...
Oh, absolutely.
Be just very, my father...
It's also interesting, that generation, they weren't concerned about, was this fulfilling? They were just trying to get food on the table to feed their children and feed the family.
Yes, and, when you've gone through that, I was saying to somebody here recently, I'm so glad that I had the experience of poverty. I didn't like going through it, but I'm very glad I had it because it makes everything...
Well, how poor were you? I mean, you weren't
poor, and it's funny. You don't poor like by any definition of
You're talking
poor,
about when you're a young man out of the house.
Yes, by any definition of poor in America, not poor in the world. No, you can go to Cuba.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's a different.
You're so sympathetic to poor people. Yeah, right. I know. Poor people. Yeah. The hovels. Yeah, I got it. Shanties. Okay. Dirt. We get it.
Good. Yeah.
But in America, if you consider living in shitty apartments, I mean the worst. Yes, I had the first step above homeless. Just the horrible apartments, bugs. No toilet, no shower, really humble. And also just having to watch the penny. I used to, my first year in comedy, I would go home on the weekends because I couldn't get on at the clubs on the weekends. That was for the big acts. I couldn't get on in the week either, but I was at least possible. You could go on at 2 a.m. in front of a drunk. So I would go home on the weekends and my mother would save the newspaper all week, and I would read them over the weekend to save a quarter to buy the New York Times every day. That's poor. That's poor.
So how much would you be making a week?
Nothing from comedy yet. Not the first year. Nobody has hired you to do anything, And if you went on at Catch a Rising Star, you got cab fare and a hamburger. So at some point, I was starting to get that. It's hard to live on cab fare and a hamburger.
No, it's not easy.
I feel like I did.
See, mine was the opposite. So I was still in our family house after my parents had died, because my mother died at 17, my father died at 20, and I was the youngest of 5. So, but we still had a housekeeper. So I'd say...
Wow, you had a housekeeper?
Oh, yeah. So I said to, Phoebe Harris, her name was, and Phoebe would say, now, you're going out tonight. Do you need? I said, well, I'm bringing some people back, but don't worry. So we'd come back at 11, about 12 of us, all drunk and stoned, and there'd be a full tea service set up on the dining room table. You know what I mean? She wasn't quite understanding the group I was bringing back.
Is this in the book? I must have missed this.
No, I might have left that out.
Seriously?
I don't know. I can't.
Because I don't remember that. What I remember is that you and I was like this parallel lives that we were living in our bedrooms in 2 different countries. Like the thing with the tape recorder. When I got that tape recorder, the Wallensack tape recorder, that my father, who worked in radio, he got I thought, but it was like, shoebox size.
Right.
And I would tape the songs off the radio. I taped Johnny Carson's Art Fern sketches and transcribed them word for word.
Oh, I used to write, because I had an imaginary television show in the book, and I would write things for TV Guide, highlights, bottom. Marty and Tony sing medley of songs that weren't nominated, that kind of thing. No, it was so, and I even had a gooseneck lamp that I'd put up, because even then I knew I needed lighting, so I'd put it up and I'd record my show and then...
Record?
Yeah, I was on...
Video?
No, audio.
Audio.
Yeah, I had a reel-to-reel, but I also had a little one with the applause on it.
Oh.
So I would stop and then I would have, and then I would, I was even then at 15 into Sinatra, so I would, September of My Years, I would, but I had to sing in Frank's keys. So it'd go, I still have recordings of this. Someday you look around and you're older. And I'm singing songs about songs and love ago.
Well, why were, again, these 2 kids into A Man Alone?
I live alone. That hasn't always been easy to do. For a single man. Yeah.
Like now I listen to it, it's like perfect. It's I talked about this with Seth MacFarlane recently because he's the 3rd person in the world who knows this album.
Is that true?
Yeah. Well, who does? It was a.
It didn't even really sell at the time. It was Rob McEwen.
Of course not. It was a concept album put out in 1969, written by a gay poet, Rod McEwen, a gay poet, and it's a theme album. Now it's like perfect for me. A Man Alone, learning.
Sinatra at the time would have said, I want to do the recording of that marvelous gay poet.
Yeah. Exactly. He probably would have said other things that were not politically correct.
I don't think
Frank would have done well in the age of wokeness.
No. No, I don't think so.
I can't say you're a $2 broad. What's
What are
this
you
world?
talking about? I know. I used to, even that has changed so fast. I used to have a joke about Steve that I said, Steve is so amazing because even when we go to a restaurant, he always knows the waitress's name. And what's amazing is that A, he knows their name, and B, that they're all called Dollface. And you can't even say, you'd have to say a server now.
He says Dollface?
No, he doesn't. It's a joke.
Yeah.
But I used to have a joke in our show, like at the end, because we kind of merged shows. I had my own show, and Steve had a banjo show, and eventually we merged them.
Yeah.
And at my show, a woman would bring out a glass of champagne at the end, and I'd say, I like my champagne like I like my women. Compliments of the Capitol Theater. And then someone came up to me and said, you can't do that anymore. And I said, but everyone is laughing. Everyone is laughing at that. Why can't I do it?
Oh, you're so 20th. Laughing? Have you seen comedy lately on Netflix and a lot of the places that have some of the younger comedians? Laughing is, it's frankly kind of corny. Like doing jokes and getting laughs. No, it's about feelings, Marty. Maybe you should catch up with the times.
No,
it's about how you feel about things.
I'd kill for it to be about feelings. It'd be so much easier.
And also,
I could bring up my parents. My parents died.
You lost everybody.
I lost everybody.
You could do the victimiest show ever. You lost everybody before their real time. Your brother, your mother, your father, your wife. All
That's
the
right.
most important people in your life. It's amazing that you perfectly balance between the right amount of grief and the no, but I'm still Martin Short and life does go on. Because
weird thing with my wife was different. We were together for 38 years. That's that horrible tragedy that I still live with. My parents and my brother, it was a weird thing. I don't know why. Because what I knew was that at 20, I knew something that no one else at 20 knew about loss and death.
Right.
So I think in that thing, if I'd become a drug addict and a drunk, they would have said, well, because he lost his parents and brother.
So what's my excuse?
Well, I don't know. No, I think that it just, for me, it was kind of, I don't know. It wasn't, also in 1970 in Hamilton, you didn't go to a therapist. You just rode your bike and tried to figure it out. And that kind of muscle, protects you your whole life.
Why do you think two 15-year-old boys who cannot understand this man's point of view at all, he's looking back on his life. He was 50-ish when he recorded it. And it's all about, everything is very wistful about decades. The girls along the way. There was a girl in Portland. We used to court on.
Yeah, it's all about, it was weird back then.
Nothing we could relate to.
No, but also, even in his album, September of My Years, he's 50 talking about,
Yes. But we didn't. But that's not the one we clung to.
No.
We love this man alone.
I know every word. And also, it can make me cry.
And there was poetry that Frank read, not sang.
Yes.
In between, and some of it's very dark. Empty. Empty is the sky is. Yeah. Then there's a song, but before that, it's like empty. And then there's one about. I can just about get through the day, but the night makes me nervous.
Well, by the way, that's kind of brilliant, isn't it?
Not for any particular reason. It just sometimes catches you and follows you around like a woman when she wants something. You remember that line?
Absolutely.
I was like, well, there's a little hint that the author was a gay guy who was like, oh, girlfriend, when you want something.
No, I never interpreted that way.
Now I do, now that I know it when I was a kid. Yes. Well, I think even as a kid, I understood the Rod McEwen angle, although maybe, do you think they printed that back then? Would they even have said?
No.
They would have said homosexual.
No, he never would. I never knew he was gay.
Till now?
Then. Well, no, I'd heard whisperings.
Right.
In the last decade. Because everyone's whispering about Rob McEwen.
I saw you at the Globes.
Yes.
You're such an A-lister. It's very nice that you would still slum here with your old comedy friends.
Well, because I just want to see how you're doing. It's because you're on those smoky clubs.
Yeah, smoky clubs. No, you are, yeah, you're an A-lister.
Oh, wait a second. Why?
Like your crowd
Like you're
is
not an A-lister.
no.
In what way
that's
you're?
well,
Other than you don't know anyone.
I know them.
Just
but,
they don't want to be with you.
some of them don't. Yes, that's true.
Who's the biggest A-lister?
I'm definitely not woke.
Who's the biggest A-lister you've pissed off?
There are woke assholes who, like a lot of this town are woke assholes actually, who like they really think their shit don't stink and they don't know a lot again about stuff, but they definitely know what they should know. And people who don't agree with that, they just don't want to be around. They don't want to breathe the same air. And it's not like I'm a Trumper or something. I mean, those people they wouldn't even talk to. And I think that's a very bad thing for this country, when you don't talk to each other.
No, it's insane. But there is an insanity also about facts don't matter anymore, the alternative facts approach.
On both sides. Yes, worse on the right, and they invented it.
Yeah, but that's I do think that's different. You can say on both sides everything, but when it's here and here.
Well, I mean, yes, I always say the right is worse. It's still worse to deny democracy, but
That's not even democracy, Bill. That's conceptual to a lot of people who don't understand it. It's denying January 6th. It's denying just the alternative facts.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't think anyone was harder or meaner on Trump or more prescient about how he was not going to leave office. So
you really were. And I watch you, as you know, I'm a fan. And I watch you every week. And you said that you were the first person to say it. And everyone would be on your show saying, well.
Yeah, they were all poo-pooing.
Yeah.
There was so much poo-poo around that stage.
And it's only because, in fairness to the pooers, it seemed so improbable. It seemed like that they would go, even Donald Trump wouldn't have the Capitol stormed.
It was so obviously inevitable.
Yeah.
He's not a guy who changes.
No, the one thing you can say about Donald Trump, he's transparent. But there's nothing mysterious.
Here's what they say to that about denying facts. And I understand it to a degree because I spent a long time lecturing the Republicans on how ridiculous it was to deny what was happening with the environment and global warming.
Right.
And now I have to talk, and they would say, well, climate change is just a theory. And now there's people on the left who think that biology is just a theory. It's that kind of stuff. Men can have babies kind of stuff that makes people go, Trump is nuts. That's true. We know that. But this is a different kind of nuts that's closer to my house because my kids are coming home from school and they're like, am I queer? Because it's great that we could let kids come out and be themselves when they are, but it's gotten a little like entrapment with the FBI. A lot of times they catch a terrorist group, the FBI, and it turns out, well, these guys really weren't going to do anything, but an FBI agent got in there and kept suggesting it. Wouldn't it be great if you showed the infidel a thing or two by blowing up that bank? I could get you some explosives, and this is called entrapment.
Right.
Okay, so it's because we have this principle that, well, you shouldn't get punished for just accepting the suggestion because the suggestion is a little leading. I think that's somewhat what goes on in schools. That's what some parents are complaining about. It's like, we're not against homosexuality, but when every book is, Bobby can wear a dress, the kid gets it in his head, and it's a confusing time. I mean...
No. I'm saying I know many. I raised my kids in the Catholic schools.
You did?
Not intentionally, but the school was close to us, and it was the best school.
It's always the best school.
Yeah, and so we started. And then I didn't realize, of course, because I went to public school, that by 8th grade they want to go to high school with their friends. So suddenly they're all in high school, Catholic high schools, but I have a lot of good friends who are Republican, who are Catholic, and they don't like Trump.
Right.
They don't like him, but they think the left is nuts.
Exactly. That's what they always say to me. What you don't get about us is we don't like him either, but he's a bulwark between this kind of crazy stuff because he just thinks, he wants the old America and there's some bad things with the old America.
But now it's different, Bill. Now, this is not Trump in 2016. This is really, really, really unleashed Trump. And it's more,
I think he's exactly the same. He was.
Everyone's going to be Stephen Miller. If he's elected president, it will be.
Well, it's definitely going to be worse because he already.
Elise Stefanik will be VP. You're going to have Secretary of State Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Well, like an opportunistic infection, he has learned. And what? From the first time, he has grown stronger as infections do.
No, he's not the problem. He's mentally unstable. Forget
very
him.
much.
It's the people around him that should be ashamed. The Ted Cruz,
maybe they should be ashamed, but it's very much about him. It's all about him. It's so funny. Like when Biden was elected, the whole deal kind of was like, just vote for me. I know I'm not perfect. I'm this old dude. Nobody really likes me. But here's the deal. If you elect me, we can stop thinking about Donald Trump.
That's true.
All we do still is think about he's on there every day. It just never stopped. I don't think
I'm kind of obsessed with CNN and all the networks that I'm news obsessed. But even in the last month, I thought, okay, let me guess. Trump Hunter. Yep. Okay. I can't do it. I need a break.
Why do you still watch all that news? It's bad for you.
I know it is. No, I stopped.
I never watch cable news anymore.
Really?
Or any news. I used to watch the nightly news for years. And
where do you get your information? Make it up?
I'm hearing. That's it. I'm hearing. It's whatever.
I'm hearing.
It's whatever I'm hearing.
What I'm
well,
hearing.
You need more than that?
No, you don't. No facts. No facts. I'm hearing.
No, from reading people I respect, and
right.
and the newspaper. Much as I don't want to get started on the New York Times, but that's just not the paper it was when I was a kid, and it's annoying in a zillion different ways. But they still.
Yeah, but that's like an older guy. When I was a kid, the paper was what I liked.
Well, I could actually show you passages because sometimes I've saved things and I look from passage from 1990 and it's something they would never write today. And then they write stupid things today. It's a completely different generation that has a completely different idea about journalism. And the opinion page is every page. That is a fundamental difference. I did not change, Mr. Short. They changed. The front page used to be just the news, just give me the facts. The headline today was something like, Trump's victory, something the nation's psyche. What the fuck are you? That's not a headline.
What was
That's
it?
your lead. It was like Trump's, he just won Iowa.
Yeah.
Trump's victory, like something, I forget what, something in the nation's
psyche.
Oh,
you mean, yeah, I see what you mean. So it's like an editorial as opposed to just give me the facts, ma'am.
That's just somebody's thought. That's different. And fucked up. That's not. But they also.
So what's your favorite newspaper?
But
where do you get?
I don't have a favorite newspaper. They don't. USA Today probably, but I very rarely see it. Jay Leno used to call it America's school newspaper. That's such a perfect description of it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't get it from newspaper. I like the Free Press. That's my friend Barry Weiss. Her organization.
She is fantastic.
Yes, she and her wife are amazing writers, and
she's a great podcast.
Yeah, it's the whole thing and they have writers I like. I love Andrew Sullivan is on my first.
I love Andrew Sullivan.
Yeah, I mean people like that who are sensible. They're all liberal. They're all by any standard liberal.
Well, Andrew, I thought was conservative.
I think he's pretty. He was. Again, they switched the goalposts. I think he's always been, a little right of center. He is a devout Catholic. But, he's, I don't know. I don't remember where he was in 1990 or anything, but I think he's always been a sensible guy. Maybe people change a little, but no, I just think he's reacting, as I am, to the times and to the changes on both left and right.
No, I know. I totally agree. I actually agree. No, I do. I agree that it's a struggle. That's why a lot of people can't keep if they're left, they can't keep their right friends. And I totally think that's a mistake.
That's what I'm saying. Yes,
no, I agree.
That's horrible.
Because
originally,
but I also understand the frustration from the right to the left and left to the right, obviously.
But
left to
I
the
mean,
right.
to get back to what brought this up, you asked me, like, are there people in this town who wouldn't?
Oh yeah,
like-
that was a
yeah.
no.
like,
I think
yes,
I asked
there
you
are,
who's
there
the
are,
biggest A-lister you've pissed off. That's what we started.
Right. I can't think. I don't know. Directly, but in general, you just know. I mean, I've had some pretty famous actors here, and it's like they live in a different reality sometimes, and they don't want artists. Like, thinking ain't their big thing, a lot of them. It's with notable exceptions, but like they perceive reality like artistically. I've known this. I've dated artistic, like women who are artists, and it's like, okay, like the way we just get information and process it is very different. It's an artistic interpretation, and I can't live in that world. I like reality,
Mm-hmm.
and you're a very reality-based star. And a great star, as Don Rickles would say. You're a great star.
Thank you. Well, it's just so weird to be a
But
star.
you are one of the few celebrity panel we have on the panel. We have on Real Time. Very few celebrities do the panel. Anybody can do a one-on-one, and it doesn't. But you can go from crazy man you to like in 30 seconds you're making a really salient, serious point. That's a skill very few people have. That's why very few celebrities do the panel. I mean, most of them don't.
Are they scared to do it?
Of course, and they should be. They're idiots.
Well, this is why the A-listers don't like you. Because you call them idiots.
Well, they are. Well, not all of them.
There's a few.
Of course, there's idiots in every industry. It's just here they speak.
That's
and
true.
it's like, no, and they're all just so indoctrinated into kind of like the same groupthink. You just really need a chisel to pry your way in there and try to get like just some other thought, and it's okay. But yes, that is one reason why.
Well, we started with me at the Golden Globes, and I'm an A-lister. That's how we
You
started.
are such an A-lister. You're at these things. You're in the
Well, because
company.
I'm nominated. What am I supposed
I
to
know,
not show up?
but I'm just saying your whole. I'm trying to give you a compliment.
I know
It's
you
true.
are, and I'm not accepting.
And I know, and it's and look, I don't miss this at all. I remember all the years I went to the award shows. Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
God, and like you could not wait to get home and rip off that fucking monkey
that's true.
suit and eat some food, and it was just like stop smiling, and it's just, ugh. It was exhausting. Not like I'm complaining about my life.
Yeah, I know. It's what a horrible thing.
Yeah.
And you're in a tuxedo,
Yeah, and
you're
then the next-
surrounded by Cher.
The next day when I was in the shale mine with a pick, I was like, this is better. No. Okay,
No,
I understand how privileged I am. Okay. But it was gross.
I will
And
tell you, the
don't
Golden
miss
Globes
that-
this year,
I don't
it was-
miss that world.
It was insane how many famous people were there. And maybe because of I don't know, it's the first award, I don't know. It was packed with every table.
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
legendary.
biggest show business, was fired for 6 months, and they
You're
were
right.
looking, thing about
What?
your
What's interesting? I killed to hear something interesting.
That's so cruel.
I know it isn't. No, it isn't.
I was
It's
gonna
filled
say-
with love.
The-
It's filled with love. You know I love you.
I do.
We have dinners. La Dolce Vita is back.
I was there just recently.
It's hipper.
I didn't see a big change except
The
that.
carpet.
Was that really?
There's a carpet.
Okay.
I'm telling you. They closed for
Boy.
6 months putting a carpet.
Playing a detective really paid off.
Thank you so much. I'm no fool.
Yeah.
I'm looking everywhere.
But and even though who you up against, you're up against somebody who beat you. But it's
I
like
lose all to the Bear.
the Bear. Yeah, I guess I
Jeremy Allen White.
got to catch up with the Bear. But it's so, the whole concept is so silly. Like, just the competition. Why is it they're two completely different universes, and we're trying to compare them?
I know. It's all promotion for your.
It is. Yes. No. Madonna once said it to Kanye West. I read. She said, "You don't go to an award show expecting justice." And that's really so. But
Kanye had all his teeth removed, I heard today.
are you? Is this a?
No, and putting a platinum like the Bond villain. No, I'm serious. I'm serious.
Wait, had
I
all
don't
his,
have all my facts, but
Had all-
platinum teeth or something.
had all his teeth removed?
Yeah.
It always amazes me when people do cosmetic things that have serious repercussions for actual health.
Well, I've always been amazed by tattoo because I look at myself in the 80s and I have like Robert Culp glasses and a beaver cleaver hairdo. And I think, what if I had tattooed that look on my face in 1982
Right.
and that was the look forever?
I know.
You know.
Could there be anything stupid than to lock in your feelings
Lock in your feelings.
ink at the age of 20?
That's right.
But of course, that's
You know, it's one thing you said that was really, I've quoted a million times about, you said, when I was 12, I wanted to be a pirate, but I'm glad my parents didn't cut off a leg and take one eye out.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. But that was the trans thing. And look, we don't want to get in on serious issues here. You're a big star. You're a fantastic star.
By the way, I didn't say it, you did. I'm an A-lister.
You are an A-lister. And you know, and I don't think it's just because you're a power couple with Meryl Streep. I mean, that's certainly...
We're not a couple. We are just very close friends.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you should, because there's nothing more powerful than Hollywood than a power couple. That's why they
Work
always...
for the Burtons.
They always worked for Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. It worked for Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. Everybody, they're like an electron...
Roseanne and Tom Arnold?
And a proton. Like they need to... They circle each other until they... You know, I'm not quite up on the chemistry, but
I was going to say
there's something about
it. Like being with a scientist.
An electron and a proton have to find each other.
Yeah, right.
And they just have to find each other. And they do. Because look at Timothée Chalamet and Kylie Jenner now.
And by the way, I know you don't think so, but they're going to last.
Yeah. Somebody had a joke.
Because if they break up, I got to look in the mirror in the morning and say, what do I believe in anymore?
Somebody tried to sell me a joke. I didn't do it. Maybe I should have, about when Rihanna and A$AP Rocky got together, and the joke was, and that's how I predict this will end. A$AP Rocky.
What?
And that's how I predict this relationship will end. A$AP and Rocky.
I know a great joke. I remember a great joke you did years ago when I guess Kanye and Kim named their first child Northwest.
Northwest, yeah.
Yeah, and you said, and you know she's going to be an actress, and I can't wait for the casting director to come in and say, you know, I'm sorry, we've gone in a different direction.
I said that?
Yes,
I
it's a
have
joke
zero
for your
recollection of that. That is great.
Yeah.
Well, I have some great monologue writers.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It really, really, really is a great. It's a perfect concept. You know, as you know, I used to do Politically Incorrect with you.
I don't know that.
You don't?
Can you prove
don't
it?
remember that?
Do you remember that sign?
What sign?
That sign right there, that giant Politically...
It was there. I was on with Sarah Ferguson once.
Sarah Ferguson?
Princess?
Oh.
Yeah, the Duchess of York.
I got in trouble on a show.
Yes, you did.
Okay,
that was the one.
Let's not go into it.
Okay. We don't need to go into
No,
it. But I was there. But I will tell you, you said something was like a little controversial.
Yeah.
And then...
More than a little.
And then you turned to me and said, aren't you going to say anything? I said, I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you were more mature. Oh, no. That's what I was going to say. Like you in your room, me in my room. Now, my room was like, honestly, not much bigger than this configuration we're sitting in now, just this square. I literally was able to paper my wall once with something I made. Okay, so I'm in my room, and you're in your room, and you're actually doing a show.
Yeah.
You're dreaming of show business, but actually doing a show.
I had a deal with NBC. I was 14. Imaginary. And even then, I knew I was on Tuesdays at 8 p.m., but every other Tuesday, because I needed time for my film career.
Oh,
I used to sit on the back of a bus. This is true. A back of a bus. You know how, a bus, like the back seat window.
Yes,
like
I know
that.
A bus.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember.
Remember, I was poor, unlike you.
Oh, yeah.
Little Lord Fauntleroy.
And, but I used to pretend I was in a private plane and wave. No, it was so imaginary.
Okay, but here's the difference between us, I think. I don't know, maybe you did the same thing. I did not have my own show in my little room. We were both dreaming about show business.
Yeah.
I channeled it differently. What I did, beginning at the age of 12, was masturbate. And the fantasy was always that I, at 12 years old, had a talk show. And
Wait a second, let me understand how this works.
It was in a tent in the...
You were masturbating.
Yes.
But not to a pretty girl.
Oh, yeah. Masturbating to all the guests who were coming on my, or who were fans or whatever. But I imagined I was a kid with a talk show. That was like the hook. And it was in a tent. We shot it in a tent in my backyard.
And this is why you're masturbating?
Yes, because you have to have a scenario when you're masturbating.
Okay,
don't you?
This is.
I consider myself one of the saner masturbators in the world because I have no weird fantasies. Mine were just like, oh, this super hot chick digs me a lot and wants to fuck me. I mean, that's healthy.
But what does that have to do with the talk show?
Because why else would a super hot chick want to fuck a 12-year-old?
Oh, you mean you have that kind of power?
I had a talk show. I had a show. I'm saying you did your show in my room. I did mine in my mind. And it was all about...
I think my story is the story of a very healthy young man who would eventually end up in show business.
I think
your story is more perverted and
it's not
filled with...
No.
Oh, it's odd.
It's not perverted.
It's odd.
No.
It's odd.
No, it's
to
not.
masturbate to like, oh, because I'm now Johnny Carson and Angie Dickinson wants to have sex with me.
Yeah, exactly. That's
and by
exactly
the way,
what
the
it
perfect
is.
name.
And why is that unhealthy?
I didn't say, did I say unhealthy?
Yeah, kind of.
I meant just sick. Don't confuse my words. I'm not a big literate guy like you.
No, you're not.
No.
Anyway, no. No, you are. I bet you.
Shut up.
I bet you.
I'm drunk now.
Fuck you.
Oh, yeah, you Bill Maher. Who cares?
I thought this was America.
Yeah. What about my freedom? Yeah.
Well,
Well,
but come on.
anyway,
One
yes.
thing I love
Yes.
about your show with Steve, besides the fact that I've watched it twice, and it just kills me both. No, you can watch that show twice, and it's funny the second time.
Oh, I thought you meant just 2 episodes.
Even though, no, I'm talking about your stand-up show.
Oh, my stand-up
the
show.
special,
Yeah,
the special with Steve.
Uh-huh.
The other show I watch also, but I don't watch it twice because I know who the murderer is now. Okay, but you guys play red states.
We play everywhere.
You play everywhere, and we need more of that, not specifically from me, I'm not going to do it, but people who will go out there, and the audience can be guaranteed an experience where they don't have to think about politics every fucking second, and we don't have to shoehorn politics
That is true.
into every...
That is true.
Like, I was watching...
I do think that the audiences at this time, especially when you said don't watch, network news all the time and CNN, they need a respite. They need to breathe in, breathe out, and not be told, and not half the audience be told, you're stupid because you don't agree with me.
Especially with comedy.
Yeah.
So...
I mean, I have I'll do a joke, an innocuous joke, like, Steve and I are like, we're a team. We're like Trump and the My Pillow guy without the sexual tension.
Yeah,
that's an easy joke.
Yeah.
That's a silly joke.
Right. You can dip your toe there, and I'm just saying, we do different things. This is the exact opposite of what I'm doing, but it's ironic. We both attract a mixed crowd. You just don't know who in your crowd is for which side, but I guarantee you both sides are represented in that audience.
I think so, and I'm amazed.
I know they are. And
we play all these different states, and the audiences are all the same.
Right.
They're all great.
And they are a mix of political...
Of course they are.
Okay, but that's not the case with a lot of things that are going on now. A lot of shows, there's no mixed crowd at Coachella. There's not a bunch of fucking stuck up their ass Republicans there. What I do is, like, now I do get a more mixed crowd. It's still, I would say, 70-30, but, like, that's good. Because that way, the conservatives, they get their jollies laughing at making fun of stupid woke shit. And, the other people get their Trump is an insane, horrible human being, and we can't have it again.
No.
And they can laugh at each other's jokes against them, so to speak. And that is a greatly satisfying thing in my career at this point, to be able to attract a politically mixed
And do you
audience.
play
It's
do you play every
rare.
state?
I probably have played every state. Do I?
I think of you as playing every state.
I name a state you think I might not. I may not have been to
North Dakota,
played it.
South Dakota.
Yes. I don't think I played Wyoming. I don't think I played Wyoming. I played Idaho. I played Boise.
Mm-hmm.
You go to Boise?
I don't think we've. I can't. You know, I
Well,
don't.
you're too good. Why? Because you're an A-lister?
Oh my God in heaven! Here's the thing. First of all, in every state, there's going to be people that love Bill Maher. No, really, I'm serious.
Well,
There are going to be no state just has one.
No, absolutely. That's why I play all over, and so do you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just saying, it's important.
What are you doing?
Cutting off the ash part.
How come?
How come? Because I don't want to smoke ash?
You did in the old days.
I love jokes that are just rhythm. There's no meaning there.
There's not a hint of meaning.
There's nothing. It's just, you pulled it off with just talent.
Yep. Thank you so much.
No meaning.
No, it had no meaning.
No, just talent. Just it looked like it should be funny.
It could get a reaction, and then people on the way home might say,
exactly.
There's no joke
It's
there.
like what a con man does. On the way off the used car lot.
There you go.
What were we talking about? It was so important to me. Oh,
Playing different.
I just think it's important that we not give up on the idea of, as ridiculously polarized as we are, of trying to get back to some. I can sit next to the guy who, yes, even a Trumper, they're half the fucking country. You know what? Try to understand more than just condemn. I get it about him too. It's been 8 fucking years now. Just kind of accept, like, he's a liar. Yeah, I know. I did 10 editorials about that before, you know.
It was hip to call him a liar.
Well, just whatever. I mean, when he sued me, I had a whole big thing. That was before he was. Anyway, point is, like,
Hey, what happened to that
this
lawsuit?
is already baked in the cake. Can we move on to just?
But what happened to that lawsuit? It just gets thrown out by the courts? Is that what happens?
It was hysterical. I mean, he was suing me because I said his mother was an ape. Was fucked by an ape, was fucked by an orangutan, and then he produces his birth certificate in court to show that the mother wasn't. I mean, he really did that at a time right after he forced Obama to show his birth certificate. So I literally forced him to show his birth certificate in a way that no sane person would have.
But I mean, does it get thrown out of court? How does it work?
Absolutely, it went to court. He wanted the $5 million. I said, I will give you $5 million if you can prove your mother wasn't fucked by the orangutan.
You said that? Well, then.
Yeah.
No, I know. Yeah. So.
And then he literally went into, I have the letter. I prize it. It's one of my prized possessions from the lawyer. Mr. Trump was legally married, and they show the. I mean, it's just insane that because he wanted his $5 million. And the judge, of course, read it and went, get the fuck out of my courtroom.
Good.
Yeah. That's one of the bad parts of our judicial system, is that there's almost no penalty for just trying anything.
Absolutely agree, and the appeal and on top of the appeal on top of the appeal.
But just, like I can just say, Martin Short is a cannibal. I happen to know it. I saw him eating human flesh. You in Hollywood, his A-list friends, you decide if you want to stand behind him. But I saw him punching Army Hammer once just to get to a rib. No, and he's not a cannibal either. But like, I could say that, and like, if then you take me to court and liable, and like, I am not a cannibal. I've lost work over this. I was doing a commercial for Kraft Foods that went away,
And would I win? Would I win?
There would be no. The judge would throw it out probably, but there would be no penalty on me for having done that to you. It would be like, hey, I took a shot. Yeah, I knew it was bullshit. I took a shot. So you got me. Okay, I'll try it again. And that's why Trump.
But what if I'd lost work? What if I'd actually lost the craft service contract?
I don't know. I mean, obviously, different cases result differently, but
and you're no big legal mind.
Well, I'm I'm not completely ignorant of
I
the
did.
way
Did
that-
I say you were ignorant? I said you were a big legal mind.
Yeah.
F. Lee Bailey and you are never used in the same sentence. Let's put it that way.
No, but you know what? I've learned, and this is, don't say that I'm on some sort of expert diatribe, but yes, that's true. We have become too skeptical of experts, but we should be skeptical of experts in general. I mean, I certainly.
In what way?
Well, I certainly feel like this is proved over and over again in the medical field. Like doctors, they disagree with each other. We obviously don't know lots of fundamental things, like how do you cure cancer and why do you get it? Lots of stuff that is fundamental that we just don't have a handle on yet. We're trying, but so don't come to me with, well, the experts say, which ones? Because I can come up with experts who disagree and they have the same degrees.
I kind of go with the majority. You're always going to find
Well,
a doctor that says blank.
Not just a doctor. I'm talking about.
But if it's 3% versus 97%, I'm going to go with the 97%.
Well, it's not 3%.
Well, let's say it
It's
is.
not. It's not. If you get something and you go to a doctor, it's something like complicated, they will always say, get a second opinion.
That's true.
And okay, well, why does that work for you personally, but not in general?
Because I think there are second opinions.
Exactly. There are second opinions. It's not 3%, because I've had this happen, and it's never the same opinion. In fact, it's very often the exact opposite opinion. So I'm just saying, experts, and legally too, I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, but I just know that the legal system is never about the truth. It's just about what you can prove and who.
And if you have the money to keep hiring the lawyers.
The money, who the judge is that day,
Right.
what his biases are, what did he have for breakfast, lots of things. You're right, not a great legal mind.
No,
but instinctively,
No, the instinct's there. It's always been there.
I'm not wrong.
Well,
I did a special once, a stand-up special, and that was the title. But I'm not wrong. I feel like that really stood the test of time. I feel like that a lot. Like people are like, oh, Bill, how can you? Yeah, I know, how can I? But am I wrong? Right? I mean, isn't that what people like about it? Did you see the poll? I'm like the most trusted man in America now. I could show you too.
is that true?
Yeah, well, they did a thing. It was a headline. I'm going to show it on the show Friday. It's like, yeah, the most trusted media, like more than like Tucker Carlson and Jake Tapper and like, yeah, it was some.
Well,
some
I
poll.
think probably because you go in both directions. And I mean sexually.
Yeah, because
No, you go in both directions because you don't. I mean, Tucker just defends one idea.
I say what I think about
That's right.
both sides, and both sides,
And I think that is that's kind of what you've always done.
it is what I've always done. It's just that in years past, the left gave me less to work with. They are the comedy fodder, the political parties, and Obama was not funny, which was great. He wasn't a buffoon.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't crazy woke. He has great quotes against, well, this woke shit is hurting us and got to stop. That's not what, I'm a liberal. I ain't this other stuff. And so there was less to make fun of. Then, around the time Gen Z becomes ascendant, and there's a guy who wrote a book about this, that's when you see just a real change in like sensitivity and just lots of stuff that went way into crazy town.
It is always a pendulum that kind of rights itself at one point, but it has to go over here, it seems, to land in the place it must
But the
land.
problem is that we thought the millennials were where the pendulum was up here and it would backlash with the Gen Z. But the pendulum just went all the way up to the top.
No, but even look at cancel culture. It has subsided, don't you think?
It has not.
You don't think so?
Of course not. All you have to do is say, I was just talking about this with Harvey Levin on his thing tonight before you got here. It's just potluck. Some people, like, they can say almost anything and they skate. And other people, it's I think, could get away with anything. Not anything, but like.
Is the whole A-lister thing?
You have a A-lister, great goodwill, funny, and there's a humanity. You don't stay on the scene as long as you have. Like, very few people are working at your age of 87,
88. Thank you.
But
Thank you for going under. That's very kind.
I bet you will be working at 88. George Burns was.
Yeah, I think you have to quit when the voice gets all shaky. I think that's when you have to leave.
I could do this all night, but just for my point before about modern medicine, like we romanticize how much better it is than it was in the past. Yes, it's great. We don't rub dirt in wounds anymore and stuff
Bleeding,
like that.
Leeches
we
are out.
don't put wooden teeth in people's mouths, but that was not.
Don't talk to Kanye.
Right.
He's got the
all back.
Titanium. Thank you.
Right. But yes, we're the best we've ever been. We're still like at the beginning of really understanding how it all works. Besides the big diseases, there's like thousands of ones. They call them rare diseases that people get shit and they just don't. That's like that's not even on the in pile.
No, I know.
Because we're trying to figure out these biggies. And I
was hearing a podcast today, and Mark Ruffalo was on, and I didn't know the story, where he talked about having a dream, because he had an earache. He had a dream that he had a brain tumor, and then he goes to his doctor and said, I know I'm an actor, and I had this dream, and he had a brain tumor.
Oh, really?
And he had a brain tumor. He lost hearing in one ear. It was benign, but it affected his face. This is when he was like 33.
And he found out about this because he had a dream about it?
He had a dream about it, yeah.
And the dream was so convincing that
he just thought, I know I'm being an idiot. And he kept thinking, I know the doctors think I'm a moron actor, but my doctor said, all right, we'll do a CAT scan and you'll see that it's just all in your head. And they had a mass.
And it was in his head.
It was in his head. No, but it's an amazing story. And he said his wife
this is something you don't want to get.
I don't want to get that.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know what I want to end up getting.
You don't think about it.
No.
Come on. Why would we think about those things? I mean.
Oh, I don't. I actually don't. I because I'm still, I'm 73, but I'm not particularly aware of that. I'm not like hobbling, or I'm still running around on the stage in a nude suit.
Right.
And so I have no perception of that.
Okay, but you know the line, and not that everything revolves around a man alone, but except when the darkness comes, right?
Yes, I know that.
Except when the darkness comes.
Yeah.
I stay busy. I'm not morbid in general, but like when I get up in the middle of the night to pee, as we all do.
Not me.
Really?
No, so once in a while.
At your age, you don't get up in the middle of the night?
I just go in the bed.
That was not what I was expecting.
Oh, I see.
I thought it was going to be a positive thing. It actually turned out to be even more negative.
No. I actually, go ahead. Let's hear about all your prostate problems.
No, I'm just saying that's when I think morbid thoughts. I don't know why.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know why that moment of the day, I guess because you got up in the middle of the night, you were sleeping, and then now you're not, and then you have to get back to sleep, and yeah, that's when it's like things like that, and it's like it's pointless.
See, I don't think about it. I think more like guy at LAX. Ed Grimley was my brother. Like Garp or something. I think about that.
That's so funny, morbid but funny.
Thank you.
Right. Somebody who
you never know.
Right. Well, they don't usually assassinate, not to undercut your A-list status, but people quietly of your status. Not that you haven't done very well at show business, but you're just not on the Gandhi level. You know what I'm saying? You're not Gandhi.
According to you.
You're not John Lennon.
According to you.
You're not Lincoln, was a friend of mine. You're no Abraham Lincoln. You're done amazing.
You were an American Cousin that night, weren't you? Yeah.
What?
This is an American Cousin. Thank you.
Yeah.
See, I'm a historian.
I see.
Yeah.
I
started a diary, as a Canadian, but I started a diary the day Kennedy got shot. And it was a made up, like a diary, like I made the pages and did the lines, And the opening is November 22nd. President John F. Kennedy was shot by some, in quotes, nut.
Wow.
I was 13.
So
yeah.
Back then, news like that reached Canada?
It did. Oh. Not right away. This is now after Christmas we heard.
That was something I found fascinating in that book you wrote, that in your childhood, Canada was much more of a different country America and Canada became very similar. I mean, just like a big blue state now.
Yeah,
But like in your day, like you couldn't get certain products that you'd see on
Bosco. We couldn't get,
Bosco.
when I first came, one of the first things I did when I went to Buffalo went to the supermarket, just squeeze that Charmin. It is soft, I thought.
Why? Because you didn't get it there?
We didn't get Charmin, we didn't get Ipana toothpaste, and we didn't get Bosco. And these were, I only watched American television through Buffalo, so I never watched Canadian television, so I was dying to get these things.
It is amazing that period in the early 70s when you were in Godspell, and the amount of talent that came out of that like milieu, the Toronto, not just all the SCTV people, but like Victor Garber, right? And
Danny Aykroyd.
Paul Schaefer, and Gilda Radner.
Gilda, well, we all did this production of Godspell, and
Ivan
we were all in
Reitman,
it.
the director, wasn't he?
Who?
Ivan Reitman?
Ivan Reitman, I met him at McMaster University at school.
Okay, I mean, it's like, there was a real flowering.
It was kind of a little bit like Paris in the 20s. I mean, there was I remember meeting Danny Aykroyd, and, you know, he just was always working on his car. Do you know what I mean? He was not, but I met Danny at Gilda's birthday because I have a Slight Rain Man thing. It was June 28th, 1972. And now we were rehearsing Godspell and Gilda's birthday, and Danny Aykroyd and his then comedy partner, Valerie Bromfield, played Gilda's parents from Detroit and stayed in character the whole night. And I thought, who are these people? And then I remember now I was dating Gilda, and I'd be driving her white Volvo, and Danny and Valerie would be in the back, and I'd deliberately get lost because they were so funny. I didn't want to let them out. I mean, I'd never experienced anyone who improvised on that level that those two did.
You know, the best pot never leaves the home country. You know what I mean by that?
Nope.
Well, like the best comedy is in the back of the car. No matter how much.
Oh, yeah.
No matter how much we try to bottle it and put it out for sale.
Right. And in your case, try to get more than just a hamburger at the at the comedy store.
The best pot never leaves the country. That's what I try to do with this. You know, it has been such a joy to sit with you, because you know what? People, we don't get together enough because we're all so busy with our own lives. What makes us get together is it's a job. Not even a job. It's just like it's something formal.
No, but you and I have had, that's
many
not true.
times.
We've had dinners
Many.
where it's just we phone each other. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, would we just sit here and get drunk? Which is what I really want to do with you.
Yeah.
We don't do that. So it's great.
Wait, Hollywood.
Well, that means
might be an offer.
Yeah. That means it's time for our lightning round.
Yeah. Exactly. That's my old answering service. Used to just have 3 words on it. I'll take it.
Do you remember dates like that? You just said it's sort of a Rain Man thing.
Yeah.
Like you said June 20.
Yeah.
I remember dates. I'm not good at math, but dates stick in my mind.
Oh,
Once I know your birthday, I never forget it. I don't know your birthday.
March 26th.
I'll never forget it.
See?
What is it?
Oh, that was too easy.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah. Come on.
That was very good.
That was professional.
No, you're good.
That was professional.
You're good. I've always said you're good.
I set you up like a fucking.
I know. I know. I don't remember theaters, but I remember dates. I can remember. I would say to Nancy, you know, when do you think we first went to Paris? And she'd say, I don't know, 78, 82, and I would know the month and the thing.
I'm the same way. I could name, yeah, and I keep a.
And Steve and I'll say something. Oh yeah, I remember that party you had. It was 1989. He just looks at me and says,
"Yeah,
fuck you," because he can't.
Also, if you name a movie, I usually can get the year. Like I usually can remember the year of the movie.
Okay, Love Story.
70.
Very good.
You agree?
Yeah, no, I think it's 70. Yeah, or maybe 71.
Right.
No, I think it's 70.
Okay.
Did you ever one of the great
Raging Bull?
Oh, Raging Bull would be 84.
80.
Really?
Yes.
See, now this is not my gift. But did you ever see the Carol Burnett? Carol Burnett on their show did a great love story parody, and the premise was she's now collapsed and she's got the long hair. Hello, Preppy. And Harvey Korman came in, and he's in full skates and hockey equipment because he was a hockey player in the movie. And he says to the doctor, "How is she doing?" He says, "She's got 5 minutes to live." He goes, "Oh." He says, "Hi, honey, how are you? Can I get you anything?" And she said, "I'll have a 4-minute egg." And he goes, "That's cutting it a little close, isn't it?"
Oh, that is priceless.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I watched Love Story recently.
Does it hold up?
No. The short answer, no, and I'll give you the longer answer. I wanted to show it to somebody, who wasn't, shall we say, alive when it was made. Okay, so I don't know why it came up. I think we found the book in my house.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought, oh, you know what? I got to recheck this out because I remember what a phenomenon it was.
Oh, my God.
In that year.
That's right.
It was just like the biggest thing. It's like, well, what the fuck is all the fuss about? And I watched it. I am a hard cry in life, but an easy cry in movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm embarrassed at some of the movies that have succeeded in making me cry. There's a certain way.
Mad World?
No,
Oh.
no, that made me pee my pants because it was 3 hours long. But Love Story, nothing. It's for a story that's a tearjerker. It is the least tear-jerky movie ever. It's sad, but just not like the kind of sad that's like, oh, lots of things are sad. It's like, like rich guys, the way you look at poor people. You're like, oh, you're sad peasants, but I'm sorry, I didn't, hey.
I never lived your life.
No.
Yeah.
Not my monkey, not my circus. Moving on.
No, well, Love Story. I mean, I think...
But it's nothing. It was like, yeah,
What if you saw Terms of Endearment again?
I did see that recently.
Oh, come on. That didn't make you cry?
First of all, I remembered, what I remembered from it was, again, this is 1984.
That's correct.
Thank you. Thank you, Alex. And what I remembered, it was like the movie of that year. We were all coming all over this one. Okay. I forgot exactly what it was about. I remembered Jack Nicholson as the astronaut.
Yes.
And the one line I remember then, I remembered one line, and I loved it again about, he's with Shirley MacLaine at the restaurant.
That's right.
Ordering a drink.
We're going to have a lot of booze to kill the bug that's up your ass. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
You remember.
Exactly.
Okay. So.
But that you didn't cry at the end?
I forgot that the plot was, once again, America has this love story, no pun intended, with like killing young girls. It's like, how do we get them sad? Have this perfectly healthy young girl, and then suddenly, boom.
Well, it was based on a book, as you know.
Love Story?
Yeah.
Eric Siegel.
No.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know about Love Story, but
Love Story was a huge book for Eric Siegel.
Eric
He was like this Yale professor.
He did Jonathan Siegel.
It was it was like 100 pages long. It's like the flimsiest thing. And for some reason, America went apeshit over the story of Oliver. He's rich, a preppy, and played by the gorgeous Ryan O'Neal in the movie. And like a big mansion house, and the father, Oliver, blah, 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 blah.
Ray Milland.
Yeah, you're right. It was Ray Milland.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
And she's of course the Italian girl. Was it from the other side of the tracks?
Yeah,
who wasn't? Yeah, who of low stature but great character. And of course they fall in love, and then the father, I will disown you if you. She's Italian. We can't have an Italian in the family. That's would be.
But he changed his tune at the end.
He did?
Well, when she's dying, he became nicer to the son.
Oh, I thought you meant the husband. Because wasn't he stepping out on her? I mean,
No.
After she got sick, not before.
Oh, no, during. Yeah, well, he's a guy.
Well, come on. She wasn't able to put out.
Yeah. No. He was very loyal to her.
Yeah.
Ryan was great in that. And then he was great in Paper Moon.
Yeah, and What's Up, Doc?
And What's Up, Doc?
With Streisand. That's a great one. That's
Yeah.
not just an homage. I think it's a remaking of a.
Bring Up Baby.
Thank you. Yes. Look at you.
Bring Up Baby, made in 1936.
Oh, boy, you must keep Marilyn stitches.
A Maryland obsession. You know, look.
What?
Are
you happy?
You know what? Should I have another rum and coke?
I think you should have a double. Unless you have to or want to go. I never want you to be here if you don't want to, but I will say that I have an unadulterated view that I would love to have you here more. Because I don't see you enough.
I would come here every day. I'd live here if you'd ask.
That's ridiculous. But
why?
Can I make you a drink?
No, I'll do it. Look what I'm going to do.
No, get your filthy fucking hand. That's so Jerry Lewis.
I know it is.
Man,
Jerry would do it.
I watched the Nutty Professor.
Now, okay, let me ask you this. Jerry Lewis.
Yeah.
I'm going to name some famous comedians or comic people. I'll name anyone. And you have to give me, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. For example, Mike Nichols.
We're talking about comedians?
We're talking about anyone, but Mike Nichols. Oh. Like I would go 10.
10 is high?
Yeah.
Okay, I made 10, maybe 10.
No, 10's low and 1's high. I mean, what happened to you?
Hey, lit this. Mike Nichols. Yeah, well, I would certainly put it at a 9 because, like, did he have a period of greatness from Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, The Graduate? I seem to remember.
Well, those are the first 2 films, but then, you know.
Right. But, like, Angels in America was good. But
Working Girl, you have.
I'm not sure. I'd have to watch Working Girl again.
Mike Nichols, to me, was someone in my life that I knew for over 20 years, 25 years. And every time I was at a dinner with him, I'd pinch myself and I couldn't believe. Because when I always think that.
Making my point about A-list, like there's nobody more A-list than Mike Nichols.
Yeah. I once said to him, I was at an art opening and Mike said, where are you staying? And I said, at the Essex House. And he said, no, but really.
No, I'm sorry I didn't get to see him do the comedy. That was before my time with Elaine May. I've seen some.
Oh, there's
clips
great. I have great copies of that stuff. All the sketches.
It was so sophisticated. Yeah. When I see stuff like that, I think it's rueful because it's like, damn, I kind of wish I lived in an America where the audience was that hip and sophisticated.
And that smart, yeah.
Yeah, and I think, that audience still exists in the country. It's just surrounded by a lot more rednecks and idiots.
Well, I don't think we heard.
But there is still a sophisticated audience there. I mean, my audience is only, I can't imagine anyone who you wouldn't describe as pretty sophisticated watching my show. They just would not be interested.
If they weren't sophisticated.
You have to watch.
Oh, absolutely.
To watch my show, you have to know things, or else it's just like they're speaking Chinese. And there are many people in this country. I'm not knocking them. I'm just saying, like, if we're talking about the ACLU and NATO, they're like, what's that? That's okay.
But your show has gotten even more, not intelligent, but I mean, for example, when you used to have 3 guests, it would be 2 smart people, and
no, I wish I had done that sooner, and we got rid of the mid-show guest.
Right.
And it's just me and 2 people, and one up top. I'm excited. Friday, Gavin Newsom is the first.
Wow.
Isn't that a great out-of-the-box?
Love him.
Booking, but like,
Well, he's done your show before.
Who cares about that?
I have actually said.
Who cares about the country? I'm talking about the booking.
Yeah, I know. But I've actually said, about Gavin Newsom. I said, look. It's show business, guys.
Right.
I mean, Gavin Newsom, he's killed Bill Maher.
Yeah.
I will actually say that.
Right, yes.
Because he has.
And, yes. And, I mean, I've been trying to get him to run for president for 10 years. And this is a guy who, like, I can't wait to talk to him because I think we can have a very friendly chat about some of the things that drive me insane about this state. And I'm hardly the only one. We have an exodus, of some pretty heavy hitters from here.
Is he going to be the first guest?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, we're going to put him on the panel with Carrot Top. No, that's the old show. We wouldn't do that.
That was the old show.
No, but it could
that
be.
was where I was on. That's why I was on the panel.
No, you did.
I was the carrot.
Well,
I was your
But
carrot.
that's
top.
the compliment I was giving you before. Very few people. Politically Incorrect was of course we had celebrities. It was mostly celebrities.
Yeah.
The point of the show was a train wreck to see idiots talk. That's not real time. So the very few celebrities who made it the jump from, and of course they're not idiots. It's just that people want this for this show. It's like, yes, it's that rarefied people who are still pretty sophisticated and they want to see an adult discussion. And no, I'm not going to stop and explain what NATO is.
Right.
That's fine if you don't know. I'm not criticizing that. But yes, and you're not insulted because you would not watch. That's one reason I wanted to do this podcast, because this is for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it is not like other podcasts. Have you done other podcasts?
I have done a few podcasts. Yeah.
They don't feel like this because
No. Because
it's in the
normally-
day.
Well,
there's a
actually,
studio.
most of them I've done. Well, I've done Conan, and
Yeah.
that's in a studio.
But you got earphones and microphones and people, and it's just much more like an actual show. This to me is
this
much
is
more like
oh, that's the camera there. I see.
right. This is much. Oh, we haven't started yet.
I do have a life. I have a lot of A-listers
that
waiting
is
for
not
me
what
at
I've
different
heard,
restaurants.
But well,
Oh, please. Are you kidding? You can't book me.
oh, I know.
Yeah.
No, isn't it great at our advanced ages? I mean, both of us are almost 40 now.
Yeah, I know.
That we can be doing so well because mostly people fall along the wayside, and maybe we were never like the top of the heap. Who cares? That place is like gross in too many ways to make it livable anyway. And we just like the little engine that kept going and
Couldn't kill us with a stick.
couldn't kill us with a stick. And here at hovering 70.
And I'm 73. I'm your senior. I mean, I look better, but I'm your senior. You look like you've been carried out of Shangri-La. Not me.
Carried out of Shangri-La.
See? No, that's a clever joke. Think about it.
What's the opposite? Carried into Shangri-La?
Well, when you're carried out of Shangri-La, you suddenly age. 'Cause in Shangri-La.
I didn't catch
you'd
that.
have to have, you
I
have
know-
to have read.
I know what Shangri-La is in general, and there was a famous movie in the 30s.
Yeah.
Is it called Shangri-La?
It's called Lost in
Yes.
something.
And it's like one of the all-time classics.
Yeah.
I remember renting
Ronald
it.
Coleman.
Yes, I remember renting it from Blockbuster. The film was in such bad shape that like a 10-minute part of it was just the audio, and they just showed a still. And it was just like, sorry, this film is from the 30s.
So it hadn't been
Somebody did not store it well, or a
Lost Horizon.
Lost Horizon. Very good.
Lost Horizon. It was made in 1936.
It's one of the, and so we just sat there watching, this still for 10 minutes with the audio. But I don't remember.
Oh, wait a second. So Jerry Lewis, a scale of 1 to 10.
Well, the Nutty Professor, that scene where he convinces Stella Stevens to fall in love with him,
Yeah.
where he he meets her at the Purple Pit. If people remember the Eddie Murphy one, which was great too, but in the Eddie Murphy one, the professor, he's fat, and then the formula makes him thin. And in Jerry's, he was just a nerd of a guy, and then he becomes like the ultimate, like coolest, handsomest,
Yes.
biggest egomaniac in the world.
With the slick hair. The way Jerry kind of saw himself.
Nothing like the real Jerry Lewis in
no.
1963.
No. We did a parody of it on SCTV called The Nutty Lab Assistant.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And I was Ed Grimley, and John Candy was, was
I
the
vaguely
head of the
remember
And I
this.
was, and then I took the potion, and then I became John Cougar. Because he was before Mellencamp then. He was just John
That
Cougar.
show was so creative.
That was crazy.
Was there?
It was.
There was never a better show. Never one that I look forward to more than SCTV.
I remember we would do anything we want. I remember one time one of the writers, Paul Flaherty, pitched Mom's Dearest. It was Mom's Mabley, beating her child, and it was just a camera coming in on the house, and you hear, you know, and Paul was doing Mom's Baby. I'm on the Moy Griffin show, and you're supposed to clean up your house. But it was called Mom's Dearest.
But explain it to the younger people. There was a movie called Mommy Dearest.
Mommy Dearest, and there was Mom's Mabley.
What year was that movie, Mommy Dearest?
Oh, I bet it was 1981.
I don't know. That one I don't
have.
Yeah,
I bet it was 81.
I'm not getting a number. Usually I do, but I would guess 81. But
I think it's 81.
It was also a big movie.
It was huge.
It was who was it? It was about somebody real, like Joan Crawford.
Yeah.
Right. And she beat her children or whatever.
She with a medal, no medal hangers, that thing. And, you know, she was this monster mother that, like, she'd look out the window, you know, in a mask, because she was a movie star, and her kids would be swimming and exhausted. And the one little girl at 10 would want to get out of the boat. Quitter! You know, she was a horrible monster mother, that was supposedly. Her daughter, Christina Crawford, had written a book called Mommy Dearest. Because that's what she
I got to
wanted
look
to be
up.
called. So Mom's Dearest was Mom's.
I got to rewatch all SCTV. It's been so long.
It was really
Some of them
funny.
I still stick in my mind. John Candy coming out of the sensory deprivation tank with the music thumping and the smoke. It's like I saw it yesterday.
John.
You with the,
Did you ever meet John?
The Spin Top restaurant.
Did you ever meet John?
On top of the
Yes, that was the
nuclear plant.
That's right. I played Johnny Nucleo in that. Yeah. Did you ever meet John?
But a Spin Top restaurant.
Yeah, that's right.
On the top.
Well, it was Towering Inferno. That was
the top of a nuclear plant. I feel it's just a bad idea from the start.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
No.
Okay.
But did you meet any of those cast members?
That's so funny you say that. In 1983, Cara Leifer and I were two of the comedians on the Young Comedian Special. Probably my first time on HBO. That was the HBO thing, and they would have a celebrity. That year it was John Candy.
Really?
And he was the host of the show, and, you know, they probably paid him $100,000 just to walk out and say, and here's another nobody you never heard of who's starting out, but he's one of the funnier people in the clubs.
Right.
And there I was in my little suit and did my little shtick about Catholic father and Jewish mother, you know, whatever it was. And I was thrilled. That's where my mind was. That was like, wow, I was nervous. He's a star. I've seen him on TV. I mean, God, I would love to find a way to get back into that head. Just for
the innocence of that
just
head,
for an hour, just to remember.
Yeah.
You probably had thoughts that if you could do that and go back, you'd go, oh my fucking God, really? That's what was rattling around in my brain?
Yeah. Well, I mean, but understandably, why wouldn't you be nervous? Why wouldn't you be excited? I mean, that's...
And he was sweet, you know, and we had to do a little skit.
He was fantastic. He was exactly what you hoped he would be.
Right. A
John.
jolly, fun, fat guy.
And funny.
A funny, fat job.
Well, you keep going to fat. I see him as a spirit.
Yeah. Well,
I see him, you know. You
no.
judge people. That's different.
I don't judge, but
No,
I'm not blind to people. I do, you know, and there's nothing wrong with fat. But,
Nothing wrong with
I mean,
that.
it was a great...
No.
Problem with the fat...
Catherine O'Hara, have you met Catherine?
Problem with the fat character is that you can't, like, lose weight and not also lose your character. That's...
See, I think...
You put yourself in a bind when you're like, if you ever got a trunk full of fat jokes and you lose 100 pounds, what do you got?
Well, that's what Nichols and May used to have this thing. They did this sketch where they would go, the next 3 sketches are about adultery. It's coming back, he'd say. And then they'd do this adultery in England, and these 2 people are talking, and Elaine would say, oh, I ran into fat Piggy Trevelyan the other day. God, she's fat woman. And he goes, fat, troubling, oh, fat. And they go, fat for 100 times. And then there's a pause, and she says, actually, it was fun to see her. She's lost a tremendous amount of weight. And Mike says, how does she look thin? Fat, she says.
Isn't it amazing that we can, like, I mean, you were saying your list, put, like, Jerry Lewis and, who did you say before?
Mike Nichols.
Mike Nichols.
Okay.
I mean, they're worlds apart. Like,
I would say so.
right, but we love them both.
Absolutely.
Right, okay. If we should think that way politically, maybe. You know, Jerry Lewis, I mean, he's Trumpian in many ways. He's so preposterous, right? In many ways, like even the real Jerry Lewis.
Yeah.
And you know that somewhere is that tape of the movie The Day the Clown Cried.
Yeah, I've been told a friend of mine has it.
I hear A-listers can get it.
I could get it.
Can you?
Sure.
I don't think you can. I think you're.
No, I don't know if it.
No,
I don't know if it's
like
really
three
assembled.
people have seen it. If people don't know what we're talking
Oh,
about.
it is assembled?
Jerry Lewis made a movie.
No, I know.
At the height of his egomania, about a clown in a concentration camp
That's right.
during the Holocaust.
Right.
And he's like with the slick hair and he's practically wearing.
And still keeping the rings on.
Practically wearing the pinky ring in the barracks. You know,
I
it's just. Apparently, it was, and no, it was. Somebody got to Jerry before he released it and said, Jerry, I know I'm going to get fired, but I'm telling you,
It's not going to work.
This is the most monumentally inappropriate thing.
I remember seeing Harley working in Paris, and I saw it with Nancy, and I said, you know, it's 1980, and I said, you know, we got to get there because we were in Paris. It's called Au Boulangerie.
And they loved him in France.
Well, right, and I said to her, we got to get there early because I'm telling you, there are going to be lines.
Right.
We got there with 5 people in the theater.
Really?
Just us, yeah. And 15 minutes in, Nancy and I turned to each other simultaneously, and I said, isn't this great? And she said, do you want to go? So it wasn't working for her. I was loving it. Oh, Baloo. But at one point in that movie, someone says to him, oh, young man, and he turned.
Exactly. I
And he was
remember
like
this
62.
movie. He was 55,
55,
and he was
okay.
playing 19. I'm not kidding. He was playing the exact character he played at 19.
He's playing 19.
I remember he was a gas jockey at a gas station.
That's right.
Right? Okay. Hey, with
Boy, I didn't mean to do it.
It's just like at 55. This is a problem in Hollywood. Did you see Killers of the Flower Moon?
I did.
Okay. Great work of art. But like Leonardo DiCaprio is just too old for this part. He's playing a like doughboy who just came back from World War I. Was he a general? He's 50.
Be a general.
No, really. The part should be a 22-year-old. The naive, like he carries out the evil.
You know, it is
He's
interesting.
just ridiculously.
I saw that film, but I must admit, maybe it's because he's a big movie star. That didn't enter my mind until right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and look, he's a great movie star and a great actor and charismatic, and I want to watch him for the rest of his career. I've watched him and loved him in so many things already.
Right.
But he's too old for that part. It's not his fault. You know, Martin Scorsese comes to you and it's like, hey, we've worked together a bunch. I got De Niro. It's going to win all the Oscars. And, would you? Yeah, but I'm sorry. That's just my honest opinion. That's why the A-listers have a problem with me at the Golden Globes.
Yeah, they don't want you at the Golden Globes. You're going to spout truth to them. How dare you?
Who comes home from the front lines at 50? You're either dead or a general, I'm telling you. It's ridiculous. And,
you're dead or a general.
And he, also like, it would have been better. Why would the Indian girl fall for him so readily? It would have been better if he was like, irresistibly studly at 25, like the guy who just played Elvis.
Well, maybe she'd seen Titanic.
It's ridiculous on a number of levels. Among them, the movie hadn't been made yet. Titanic, what year?
The real Titanic?
This is so you.
Oh, no. The Titanic's 1912, but the movie is, I'll tell you exactly, it was 1998.
7.
No, that's not true because I saw it in 98.
I went to the premiere.
97, okay.
I went to Christmas. I went to the premiere, December 21st, 1997. Yes, I remember it. And loved it. Always have loved that movie.
And I was in London.
I don't get Avatar.
Saw it with Helena Bonham Carter.
Do not get Avatar. I love Titanic. I do not get Avatar. I don't know why that's, and look, it's just me, because obviously it's like the most.
Other people liked it.
Other people just loved it. First of all, I think it's basically cowboys and Indians. It's a little wokey for me because it's like, okay, the Na'vi, you know, they're the Indians, they're peaceful and loving and kind, and you know, Indians did attack each other here and so forth. I mean, we're all humans. Okay, so okay, in general, maybe they're more peaceful, and then you know, the bad people from the other planet or whatever, they come and you know, like the people who are like the Na'vi. Would you live like the Na'vi? No, you don't want to live like the Na'vi. You're rich. You were born rich, you'll die rich.
No, but if I was born a Na'vi,
But
it's what I know.
yeah, I don't think you want to wipe your ass with bark and like.
Sure I do.
No, no, you don't. You want electricity and you want a nice, clean place to
Yeah,
sleep.
but what if you don't
and-
know that? You know, once you get electricity, you go, oh, this is great. But if you never had it, doesn't matter. I am very of the, remember, the difference between you and me is I'm of the people. You must admit, we have had unbelievable lives, mainly
Yes,
not about
yes,
success, though,
Absolutely. No, I know.
about the number of dinners we've had, not just us, but in our life, where there have been people that laughed and the laughs we've had. And that has been the luckiest thing of my life. When I look back on the people that I've worked with, you know, and you know, then you go from SCTV and then suddenly I'm in a room with Chris Guest and Billy Crystal and Harry Shearer, and that's SNL. And then I move on to the movies and you know, it's amazing. I remember the first time Chris Guest is one of the funniest people in the world, you know.
Oh, well, his
And
movies.
and when I was just getting to know him on SNL because I only did it 1 year. I didn't know him, and he had just had Spinal Tap that summer, and there was a stage right behind us for the read-through, the big Wednesday read-through, and Chris and I are against the stage, and they only did that 1 year where people could get up and perform their piece, and so two actors got up, and I turned around to look at it. And I noticed Chris wasn't turning around. I thought, okay, who is this guy? Why wouldn't he turn around and look at these actors? And when I turned back, he had written 3 flight options back to LA on top of my script. One time I said to him, I was making this film, Captain Ron. He said, Martin, what's this?
Oh, I love that movie.
He said, what's this film about? I said, well, I play a man who inherits a boat who has 2 children. He said, I didn't say spoil it for me.
Yeah.
He's funny.
Yeah, he is funny. I mean, people, you know, you think of him as the director, but yeah, you mentioned Spinal Tap. He's also Nigel Tufnell, whatever.
Yeah.
He's the guy who says, I want it to go to
11.
11 on the
Yeah.
you know, so.
No, he's
No.
brilliant. But anyway, look, so that's what I'm saying the success of our lives is how many funny dinners we've been at.
I mean, it's one mark. I agree. When you come down to it, I think in life, I mean, wow, there's just a few things that really float your boat. And one of them is friends. Friends, hanging out with friends.
Yeah.
Like, that's like sex, conversation. Everything else is kind of secondary. Yeah, you can go bowling. You can go a movie. I always said movies and theaters will never die out because it's something you can do on a date and not have to talk.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of things you can do, but like, what do you do in like the first 6 months of a relationship when it's just like super hot? You talk and fuck. You know, then comes like hanging out with other people and like going out with, you know, more eating and like, you know, bowling and whatever it is. But like the real like pure heroin is either this or sex. Those are the 2 really get to my cerebral cortex. And when I say cerebral cortex, of course, I'm speaking out of my ass.
I know.
I'm not a scientist, but I'm just guessing that's a good place to be.
So, yeah, well, it's a hip, you know, little phrase that you learn once. Maven.
Oh, I was going to say that scene where he meets, he's Buddy Love, so he takes the formula.
Buddy Love, that's
He
it.
becomes the hippest, coolest guy of 1963, goes down to the purple pit where the college kids are all hanging
Right.
out, and he picks up Stella Stevens, and then they cut to, they're pulling up to like make out point.
Yeah.
He's got her alone in his car, and he just he gives her the handkerchief, remember?
Yeah.
He goes, "Here, wipe off the lipstick, shove over next to me, and let's get started." And she gives him a big speech about, well, this is one kitten that won't be smitten, but, you know, blah, 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 blah. And he waits for her to finish, and he goes, "I said wipe off the lipstick." And then he just,
Well, he's Mr. Hyde.
yeah. And then he convinces her. You know, he does his Jerry thing. Yeah, no, I mean, Jerry Lewis, I would put in that pantheon. But yes, also Mike Nichols. Who were some other people who you...
Jonathan Winters.
Not so much for me personally. You personally?
10.
10.
Yeah.
Um,
For me personally, I'm trying to think. Johnny Carson.
oh, well, I mean, that was a lot of my... That's like the Beatles. There's an emotional aspect to that
Absolutely.
because it was adolescence. You say it in your book about like the first 15 years of your life, you're just absorbing it all, and the rest of your life, you're spewing.
I remember him talking once, and he said, you know, he was just telling a story to Ed or something about, you know, dropping a friend off at LAX. Now I'm in Hamilton, Ontario. I'm 14, and I'm thinking, what would it be like to be Johnny Carson's friend?
That's why I was masturbating about it. You're making my case for me.
Yeah, but you were visualizing Johnny, and that's
I was
the part.
not. I was
Oh.
visualizing myself as Johnny.
No, I get it.
If I thought that I could put James Bond's life in my backyard, I would have done that. But all I had was like, yes, I could be a talk show host at 12. I always said about masturbation, there has to be a thread to reality or else you can't get off. You have to have a, I used to do a bit about like, I could never masturbate about like having sex with a girl in the Middle Ages because we're not in the Middle Ages. Like if I see a movie about the Middle Ages and there's a hot chick, like, okay, what am I going to do? Get a time machine? Okay, all right, I'm back in 1262 and I'm the jester at the castle and she's the serving.
And she loves a comedian.
Yeah, she's a serving wench and I fuck her in the
serving
dungeon.
wench.
You know, like I can't masturbate my way back to that. But like, so in my 12-year-old mind, I could have been a talk show host with a tent in my backyard who was having sex with attractive women because they love a talk show host.
Well, they love a comedian. Johnny was the greatest. Johnny was, you know, I didn't do it for a long time when I could have because I realized because I was terrified. Because I loved him so much. And around, you know, 82, after I'm in SATV and I was asked to do it, and I thought, no, I just do Letterman because I'm too hip.
You kind of have a history of like turning things down.
Yeah.
Right, that you should have. What is that about?
A fear, I think.
Really?
Certainly with Johnny it was fearful.
But what was the thing in the book where like everybody in that little troupe went on to...
Oh yeah, Second City. Yeah, I didn't want to do it. I was like funny, but I thought, oh, I got to be funny on demand, and I know. But I also wanted to be an actor, and I wanted to do plays.
Yeah, again, that's why you don't tattoo things at that age, right?
No, I agree.
Because
bad decision making.
Bad decision making.
Yeah.
It's amazing anybody gets to 25. It really is in some ways when you think about some of the things that were you.
Oh, also, I mean, you know, drinking and driving the car. We lived, survived that.
Oh my God.
I have a memory of leaving a party and swerving around a corner. I still remember it because even then I went, oh, something's wrong, you know. I'm 23.
I have a memory of being in the woods behind my house. There was still woods.
You weren't masturbating, were you?
You know what? We used to bury Playboys there.
Of course you did.
We would steal Playboy, and then there'd be all mud on them. But there was nothing to see back then. It was so tame. But no, we didn't masturbate in the woods. But we got this. This is college, and me and my friend who went to another college, but we were home on vacation, and we had this stuff. I guess it was the early form of poppers. You know poppers?
Yeah. You had poppers?
Well,
in the woods.
I think it was the same drug. What it was, and it was this, it was a bottle, it looked like a little vial, not that little, and you took the top.
Oh, you sniffed it.
And sniffed it.
Yeah.
And you would turn like impossibly beet red, and be
How old were you then?
19.
Oh, you're 19. I thought you were 12 again.
No, and you would laugh your ass off for 2 minutes, and then it would go away. I mean, it seems like the potential to die with this shit.
No, I think that
what
was
if I
actually a liquid popper.
It was, but what if I forgot and swigged it? You know, or what if it just? I assume with the redness, it was forcing blood. I mean, it would be easy to have like killed yourself doing really stupid things, and people do. Is the sad truth. People do all the time.
Absolutely.
You know, and they don't. I don't. Freddie Prinze. Do you remember Freddie Prinze?
Yes.
Okay.
Wasn't he like 26 when he died?
Yeah, and he was a giant star. If people don't remember, in the 70s, the first Puerto Rican comedian and
Chico, I'm the man.
right. It was Sammy Davis who sang.
Chico, I'm the man who could only know. Yeah, absolutely.
and his catchphrase, "He's not my job."
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. He blew his brains out at 26. He was dating Victoria Principal, who was like one of the great sex symbols of her time.
And he had a son.
He had a son, I
Freddie
think.
Prinze Jr.
Right. And
was he only 26? Jeez.
just was so, like, fame was like so overwhelming. He went right from the hood to fame. And, but I think he just was so out of it when he did that to himself that he didn't really know he was doing it. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, the life he would have had, you know, I mean, he must have been aware of that. He was this bright guy.
He had everything
Oh,
going for him. He was handsome and he was a star.
he was the age when he died that they should have cast that Leonardo DiCaprio part.
There you go.
Okay, why can't-
Well, how old was James Dean? Was 26 or something, wasn't he?
I feel like the James Dean myth is all about him being dead because, like, I just watched Giant.
Oh, he's great in Giant. I think he's great in Giant.
I don't think Giant is great.
Well, that's
It's
a different
another one. It's
conversation.
I've never seen Giant. I was watching a documentary about Rock Hudson, which was fascinating. And they, of course, mentioned Giant because that was Rock Hudson's big breakout role, right? 1956, the year I was born. So I was like, oh, I got to watch this movie from the year I was born. Everybody talks about it. Wow. That was a slog for 3 hours.
It's a long movie.
Well, and it's like, look, it may have been great for its day. It's a real trick to age over 60 years. It's about racism in Texas in 1956.
Right.
And it's just very, it strikes me as very two-dimensional. I guess it was daring back then, but
Elizabeth was cute.
I never thought so.
Really?
Not my type.
Do you know when I was 13, my friend Mitchell Rosenblatt and I were at, his uncle had tickets to see Richard Burton in Hamlet in Toronto. And we're in the King 80 Hotel, and a woman walks through. She has sunglasses. She gets in the elevator. And I'd never seen this. She took out a key and put it in the elevator, so it was clearly a locked floor. And I said to Mitchell, I think that's I'm 13. I think it's Elizabeth Taylor. He said, no, it's Elizabeth Taylor. I think it's Elizabeth Taylor. I think. And then this door opens, and she turned around. She was like 33, and she took her glasses and said, yes, it is.
Wow.
We almost fainted.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. I've learned through the years that I tell stories that I think are accurate, and then I find out they're completely inaccurate. Like I was having dinner with Nathan Lane, and I said, well, Nathan, we were other people. And I said, well, tell a story about, you know, when you were at the Ritz Hotel and Princess Diana was at the same restaurant, and you toasted each other. He said, that never happened. I was at the Ritz Hotel in Paris when she died. I said, I've been dining out in the story for 20 years.
That's a pretty good Nathan Lane.
Well, I got gifts.
Yeah.
But what were we talking about?
Yeah, I'm always saying that on this show. They have to put together a montage of that. That's one reason I love it.
Jack Kennedy. So this might be not accurate, but it's kind of accurate. And so Herb Ross married Lee Radziwill.
Her what?
Herb Ross is director.
Herb Ross.
And he married Lee Radziwill, her sister.
Correct.
And so Steve at that time is doing Waiting for Godot on Broadway with Robin Williams and Bill Irwin. Mike Nichols directed it. It's the biggest ticket. You know, no one can get a ticket. It's at Lincoln Center. It's not a big theater. And it's those two. And it's 1989 or something. And so then he goes to the so anyway, Lee Radswell gets married. Jackie has a party at her apartment. And now, and this is where I could be wrong, but let's say it's her apartment. And Steve goes to the bathroom and he comes out and Jackie is there. And he says, she says, I'm so looking forward to seeing Waiting for Godot. And he says, well, listen, Mrs. Onassis, if you have any trouble getting tickets, I can help you. And she said, I think I'll be okay.
Yeah.
But she had kind of a Renoir and Marilyn.
She and Marilyn both spoke like, it's 1960s. We need to, men cannot hear our voices. I mean, Marilyn Monroe, I'm sorry. I know she had a rough life and I feel bad. I feel bad about it like you do the poor people. But like, she just, and every story I ever hear was that she was a nightmare to work with. Yes, it was because of the sadness, but it was, she was drunk or she wouldn't show up or, they'd get 3 words out of her. Cut! Perfect. All right, well, pick up the rest of this.
I thought she was great. Well, here's what's interesting
You thought she was great?
I did. Because I'll tell you something about Marilyn Monroe and Cary Grant. They never got an Oscar. Marilyn was considered just, but they were never replaced. Who replaced Cary Grant? Who never got an Oscar? Who replaced Marilyn Monroe?
Johnny Knoxville.
All right, touche.
All right. Not my best guess, but
no.
Yeah, well, of course, nobody of Cary Grant's stature is ever replaced, but were there leading men who came along? Ryan Gosling is doing it now. Burt Reynolds did it. If you're talking about the good-looking guy...
Burt Reynolds was not Cary Grant.
No, of course he's not, because he's not exactly Cary Grant. But if you're talking about the good-looking leading man guy who plays against type and isn't just good-looking and an idiot and
has some talent.
You know who else?
Who?
Ryan O'Neal. That's exactly what he was doing. That's why they redid that movie with him, playing at the guy. We all
he was great.
Men all fantasize about the great-looking girl who doesn't know she's great-looking. I'm sure girls fantasize about the same thing. The great-looking guy who isn't an asshole like most pretty boys are, who doesn't even know. Like
I'm not an asshole.
In What's Up, Doc, he's a scientist, same as in the original, right?
You're obsessed, by the way, with What's Up, Doc.
No, but he's a scientist, right? He's an egghead. So she's like, he doesn't know he's a gorgeous guy. This is a fantasy.
I got to see this film again.
But I'm saying people have done the Cary Grant thing. I agree.
I'm saying he was famous in 1934 until he retired at age 65 in 65.
What was his last movie?
Father Goose.
Okay.
Leslie Caron.
Close to last? Arabesque with Sophia Loren.
Oh, and Gregory Peck.
Maybe. Spy Caper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely Gregory Peck.
Okay. Well, I got to see that one again. But yeah.
Steve says in our show, I tell a story at one point with a lot of impersonations. He said, see, you do something that I don't do. You do impersonations because I don't need to.
Oh, I get it, but I don't agree with it. I mean, impersonations are great. Like, there's nothing I
Who do you do? Who's your best impersonation?
Oh, who do I do? Well, I've done my Gavin MacLeod. I've done my.
Everyone's asking for that, especially the college.
Maybe
camp.
my Jerry Lewis is Buddy Love. I don't know. But impersonate, like on SNL, the best thing they can ever do for me is celebrity impersonations. Like
no one is greater at that than Bill Hader.
It's funny you mentioned that. The very first thing he ever did on SNL was Al Pacino in some sketch.
It's unbelievable.
And I was like, you got me from that. And that when they do, and they don't do it enough, like celebrity impressions are just, that really.
Well, I mean, I think it's not everyone has like his gifts, but even when Bill will tell you, if you have dinner with him and he'll tell you a story.
No, but everybody can do one. So just do it.
No, but if he's telling a story, he doesn't even mean he just breaks in, and then Jimmy Fallon came in, and suddenly he does, and it's not just good, it's perfect.
I mean, Dana Carvey does that.
Like, absolutely.
He will when he goes into Dennis Miller, He not only does
It is brilliant.
But not only does he do the voice right, he ad-libs like the jokes that Dennis would do that are like kind of like what Dennis would really do.
I remember when Dana did Johnny Carson.
Oh, yes.
Phil was doing Ed.
Yes, Johnny did not like that.
No, he didn't like it. But
No.
but he did at one point, and he got that quizzical look, like, and they say, Ed, that we are slightly out of touch. And Phil goes, yes, peaked in the 70s, sir.
Yes, that was a real kind of gauntlet thrown down. That was because that was within NBC.
Yeah.
And it was kind of saying, well, the ancien regime has passed its prime.
Right.
And there is, and that's cheeky to do to an institution like that.
But he didn't just have the impersonation, he acted it perfectly. That's what Dana's genius.
Yeah, but I mean, the humor behind it was these guys are yesterday's news. And of course, most people in TV do go on a little too long. I mean, these are hard jobs to give up.
Right.
I would hope.
I did the last week of Carson. It was, the people were sleeping around the block, trying to get seats into.
That's the homeless. This is LA.
Who am I thinking of?
No,
but really, it was such an event.
Yeah, I remember Seth MacFarlane and I sang to him. I had my writers and I worked hard rewriting the words to "Thanks for the Memory," and we sang it to. We got in tuxedos and sang it to him, because Jay never really quite got his due, as he was, because he's just so aggrandizing.
It's also Johnny. There was only one talk show.
It was a different time, exactly.
Yeah, there was only one.
I mean, he was the biggest.
You know what? There's a great Johnny Carson. It's a Thanksgiving one. It's just fantastic. I watch every Thanksgiving. Doc is on fire, and it's just Johnny and Doc. And Johnny says, "Well, I feel badly. Do you want to come to my house for Thanksgiving?" And Doc says, "Well, what am I supposed to say? No in front of 15 million people?"
I remember that.
And you go, 15 million?
Yeah.
People?
Yeah, I think there was one year they got 17 million, and this is at 11:30 at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no Game Boys. There was no internet. There was
no recording it.
And there was no recording it.
And the other thing is you had to walk across the room to change the channel.
Yes.
I mean, that's a big journey.
Right. This is why it's so annoying when, the younger generation just won't learn about the past, but still make pronouncements about the present without any view of like, well, things aren't any better than they ever were. Yes, they were. Yes, they are. We were there. We've seen a lot of change, and it's a little arrogant not to want to even know about it. But,
right.
But, they're very into this sort of feeling of wanting to be a social justice warrior. And the warrior is the part that they care about. I'm a warrior. What the issue is, they can get very foggy on that. It doesn't really matter. They're like, now they're all for Hamas. It's like, maybe do a little research on that one.
Well, October 7th was a long time ago.
Well.
All right. Did we do it?
I would do this forever, but I'm just going to let you off the hook.